Hey folks, today we're talking with Kelly Martin Hicks with Haywood Health and Human Services about back-to-school health requirements. It's hard to believe that the first day of school for Haywood County Schools students is just less than a month away. On Smoky Mountain Echo this month, we're going to talk about the vaccine and physical health requirements for students here in North Carolina. So Kelly, let's kind of start by talking about what are the current vaccine requirements for students entering public schools here in North Carolina?
For North Carolina, between the ages of 2 months old and the age of kindergarten, 5 years, students will get multiple doses of 7 different vaccines for kindergarten. They'll get 2 vaccines prior to 7th grade, and they'll get 1 vaccine prior to entering their 12th grade year.
And you can, of course, find all of this information on the North Carolina Department of Health and Human Services website, which we will give that full link here on the podcast. Kelly, how does North Carolina kind of compare to other states around the country?
Everybody is pretty much in line with the CDC recommendations.
What is the process for obtaining an exemption if someone wants to do that here in North Carolina?
Okay, North Carolina recognizes 2 types of exemptions. One is a medical exemption. Those are fairly rare. A doctor has to fill out a form for that. That's generally used for kiddos that have a known allergy to a vaccine or those who are immunocompromised. So students that are being treated for cancer, have had a heart transplant, kidney transplant, something like that. The second is a religious exemption. And the easiest way to get one of those is just ask your school nurse for a religious exemption form. In North Carolina, 2.4% of students have an exemption, which is lower than our national rate, which is 3%. Haywood County is the has the 8th largest number of exemptions. Haywood County is at 4.7%.
Oh, okay. How do folks go about getting these vaccines for back to school? Can they get them all here at Haywood Health and Human Services?
They can. They can get them with their local provider, their local pediatrician, or they can get any of those here at the health department.
How do schools handle students who are not up to date on their vaccines as, school rolls around and we get into the school year?
Right. So vaccines and physicals are due by day 1 when school starts, or if a child is transferring in from somewhere, they're due by the first day that they start school. They are given a 30-day grace period, and then after those 30 days, the student is required to stay home until they get those vaccines updated.
What physical exams or health assessments are required for students?
Okay, anybody entering kindergarten or entering a North Carolina public school for the first time is required to get a North Carolina health transmittal form filled out. It's what we used to call a kindergarten physical. Those also are due the first day of school or the first day that a child attends school.
Are there any resources available for folks who may need some help accessing the vaccines or physical exams for their students?
Absolutely. The Haywood County Health Department offers vaccines, and hopefully in the near future we'll be offering those physicals as well. And then a lot of our local urgent cares will do physicals for a flat cash price.
Okay. So Kelly, as we kind of get closer and closer to the beginning of the school year, what advice do you have for parents preparing their kids for back to school with these health requirements?
First of all, be aware of what the requirements are and make sure that you call for your appointments early. Your pediatrician's office tend to book up fairly quickly. Those vaccines and those health assessment forms are good if they are filled out within the past 364 days. So if you have a doctor's appointment already scheduled for 6 months out, go in and ask your doctor to fill those forms out for you. That way you're ready to go when school starts.
That was Kelly Martin Hicks, the school nurse supervisor with Haywood Health and Human Services. The website where you can go learn more about these back-to-school health requirements is immunization.dph.ncdhhs.gov. And, of course, I'll put that website in the description of this podcast. HHSA is located over at 157 Paragon Parkway, Suite 300 in Clyde. Their phone number is 828-452-6620. That's 828-452-6620. Whether you're a longtime resident, a newcomer, or just curious about the workings of local government, our podcast is one of your go-to sources to stay connected and informed here in Haywood County. New episodes drop the last Tuesday of every month, and they're always available on demand. You can check out our website, smokymountainecho.podbean.com. I'm Dylan Huffman, Haywood County's Public Information Officer. We'll see you next month.